Welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, why is the bike helmet debate so toxic? And should there even be a debate at all? We look at the arguments to try and work out what is going on.
We've also got the e-bike advert that got banned, new frames, titanium from Moots. You can win a 3T bike courtesy of Komoot, and finally we'll have a discussion all about house prices.
Sorry, Dan, did you say house prices?
Yes, I did. This week in the world of cycling, we learnt that Peter Sagan does not condone having Parmesan cheese on top of tuna pasta.
Mangiare in Italia vuol dire scoprire ogni...
Ma no, dai! Formaggio sulla pasta con tono. Dove siamo?
Crikey, no. I mean, I wonder what time he has to stop drinking cappuccinos as well, Dan.
Well, late morning, like a true Italian, apparently. Here's his reaction to that.
Posso avere cappuccino, per favore?
Nice. Now, I suspect he doesn't condone this next thing, Dan, because we also learnt this week that the cycling sandal is back. Yes, 25 years after Shimano released what is supposedly now a cult classic.
Wow, is it really? There's a bit of bad news from that point of view then, because they're selling like hotcakes, apparently. So if you like to wear cycling cargo shorts and you've got a handlebar bag, then you'd better move quickly. They're the ultimate accessory for a cycling hipster. Now we also learnt this week that James Losley Williams, aka Hank, has almost cemented his status as ultra endurance legend.
Yes, he completed his trenching, which, if you haven't watched the video yet, is where you have to descend 11,034 metres in a single ride on a single hill. Now, the hill he chose was Porlock Hill in Somerset here in the UK. Now, if any of you have had the misfortune of riding it, you will know how hard it is to do it just once, let alone 37 times. But do it he did, and all for a very good cause.
That cause being World Bicycle Relief, of course. Now, incidentally, he hasn't quite hit his fundraising target of £20,000 just yet. So if you'd like to donate, then please do so using the link that's in the description below. And remember that every pound or dollar or euro that you donate will be matched by a very kind anonymous donor.
Yeah, that's super cool, isn't it? Right, now a couple of weeks ago, we posted a clip from GCN onto social media that caused a bit of controversy.
Controversy? That's an understatement. Here's the clip.
Now we're nearly ready to go out on our ride, but there's just a few more little things. Always wear a helmet. It's better to be safe than sorry. You might not think you need one because you're not going very far or very fast, but trust me, some of my worst crashes have been when I've been riding really slowly, so I would definitely recommend wearing a helmet.
Now, taken in the context of a GCN video, I don't think there's many of us out there that would argue against that, but taken out of context, a few people got a little bit angry about it, particularly with the assertion that you should always wear a helmet.
And I can understand why they get angry, because I also don't feel like you should have to wear a helmet whilst you're riding a bike in order to protect yourself. And let's face it, that statement that says you should always wear a helmet probably does look a bit silly to people that ride a bike in Amsterdam, for example, where helmet usage is just a little above 0%, and yet serious head injury statistics are also incredibly low.
Yeah, so the argument that always follows that is that actually it's not bikes themselves that are dangerous, it's the vehicles that we share the roads with that are. And so in Amsterdam's case, it's the segregated bike lanes that save lives and not bike helmets. And it's hard to argue against that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd agree, it is hard to argue against that. And I think there's also a sense that in countries like the UK here, or even over in the US, the general public and even cyclists themselves will look at other cyclists and think, if we're not wearing helmets, then we're not helping ourselves.
No, it's almost like we're asking for trouble, isn't it? Like, you kind of hear this question an awful lot. Oh no, you got hit by a car. Were they wearing a helmet?
Yeah, you do hear that question a lot, and you also see it a lot as a statement in articles in any incident involving a cyclist. Were they wearing a helmet or were they not? And that kind of flies in the face of the statistics that are out there really, because by that reckoning, you should also wear a helmet when you're walking next to the road or even when you're driving your car, because head injury statistics are very similar across all three.
Also, we know that if you make helmet use compulsory, you see a reduction in the number of people who cycle, to the detriment of their health, because statistics also show that if people cycle to work, it literally saves lives. The health benefits of a little bit of cardiovascular exercise massively offset any risk from cycling and indeed not wearing a helmet.
Exactly. I mean, in a roundabout way, Si, we're basically trying to say that we get why people get irritated with the always wear a helmet statement, because you shouldn't have to wear a helmet when you're just cycling around town to the shops, for example. But the question is there a difference between have to and should do?
Well, yeah, so we were curious about this, weren't we? And so first of all, we got in touch with someone on the front line, so to speak. So an old friend of mine from university who is now a consultant in an emergency department in a big city hospital, to find out his opinion.
Yep. And basically he said that the vast majority of seriously injured cyclists that he sees were wearing a helmet, but that their injuries aren't primarily to the head or to the neck. And he also pointed us in the direction of a couple of pieces of research, one done in the US and one done in the UK, both of which said that cyclists wearing a helmet had a better mortality rate after an accident than those that didn't. And so anecdotally, it appears that helmets do benefit you, and statistically, it appears that helmets help as well.
Yeah. Now, it's got to be said though, Dan, that research isn't without its critics. For example, more affluent cyclists typically are more likely to wear a helmet than poorer cyclists, and they're also more likely to ride in less dangerous environments. So a poorer cyclist, if they're involved in an accident, it's likely to be more severe, which is horrific when you think about it, but unfortunately that does seem to be the case. Anyway, nevertheless, the overall results do seem to be significant enough that even if you mitigate for that effect, the conclusion stays the same.
And furthermore, we couldn't find any data or research which suggests that wearing a helmet is bad for you.
Well, yeah, not too surprised at that, but still, relieved nevertheless. Now, in my WhatsApp conversation with my friend, he summed things up very nicely by saying that basically, if you want to protect a population from obesity and heart disease, then stop trying to make them wear a helmet when they're getting into cycling. However, when people are hooked on cycling, tell them to wear a helmet because they'll have a better outcome if they sustain a head injury.
Seems clear then that government should not make helmet use compulsory for cyclists, doesn't it? However, I mean, if you're watching this and you're watching GCN, the likelihood is that you've already got the health benefits of riding a bike, and at that point you do stand to gain from the head protection that a helmet will offer.
Exactly, yeah. So basically, there is one very good reason why you should wear a bike helmet when you ride, and not any reasons that we can think of why you shouldn't.
What I do think we need to be wary of though, Si, is shaming anybody who does decide to go out on their bikes and not wear a helmet, because that's their prerogative really, isn't it? And I don't think that the other attitude is particularly helpful when it comes to campaigning for better cycling infrastructure and better protection from motor vehicles.
No, very true. If I never read another comment in the newspaper about were they wearing a helmet or they were not wearing a helmet, I'll be a happy man, Dan. Now, as we said at the beginning of this section, it was a contentious topic on social media. I'll be interested to see how contentious it is in the comment section right now, but please do get involved, keep things civil, but be super, super interested to hear your thoughts about helmet use. Should it be compulsory? Are people within their own rights to not wear a helmet? Get involved in the comment section down below.
I'll tell you what, Si, I'm going to be wearing a helmet when I read those comments, I think. Now, unfortunately, we are going to finish this part of the show on a far more serious note because bike racing in Belgium resumed at the weekend, and unfortunately on Saturday, during a kermesse in Woertegem, young Niels Durand passed away after cardiac failure, despite the best efforts of paramedics who were attending to him for 40 minutes. Our condolences, of course, go to his friends and his family and all of his teammates too. It is now time for your weekly GCN inspiration. You've sent us a whole host of amazing photos over the last week and uploaded them to the GCN app. We've chosen our 3 favourite, which will all receive prizes, but there's a bit of a Brucey bonus for you at the beginning today.
There is indeed, Dan, yeah. You know what, it feels particularly fitting that we have GCN inspiration now. After a particularly hard-hitting opener to the show, we should remind ourselves about why we all get out there and ride our bikes, and ultimately how, touch wood, it is statistically safe. Anyway, as you said, Brucey bonus. This was sent in by David Harker. The last couple of weeks we've been talking about how great it would be if there was a place in Scotland called Loch Doon. We found out last week there was a place called Loch Doon, and David Harker has now been and has the photo evidence to prove it. Here you go, Loch Doon. Genius. A lockdown ride in Loch Doon. There we go. I'm a happy man now.
He's been to that effort and all he gets is a mention and no prize, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, it's just not a very inspirational photo. I mean, it's a good photo to say that he's been there. But less in a kind of like, I don't really want to go there and ride now. Although it is useful to know there's public toilets there.
Well, let's get on to the actual prize winners then, shall we?
Okay.
The first of which is a plant-based cyclist book, and it goes to Alex J. Myers, 25, on his early morning stagecoach loop. And here it is.
Wow,
gone for the sunrise shot early this week.
Yeah, that's Steamboat Springs, Colorado, that one, Dan. I believe they've had a particularly tough winter, so that is going to be looking even more sweet than it normally would do. Fantastic place to ride your bike and eat burritos as well. So yeah, I'm quite jealous of that, to be quite frank. Right, second prize this week, which is a Koppenberg t-shirt and GCN baseball cap in black and white. And it goes to, sorry, I'm just squinting at my laptop screen, Reggie. Best day of 2019, the most epic ride. One from the archives. It's fine, it's allowed at the moment. Anyway, this is taken in Switzerland. And it's actually from a year ago. So there we go, that is allowed, isn't it? It's like an anniversary. What a photo. That's just bonkers, isn't it?
It's an absolutely incredible photo, that one, isn't it? They will receive a Koppenberg t-shirt and GCN baseball cap. Meanwhile, first prize this week is a GCN sit back and relax bundle.
Oh, yeah.
That goes to Adi. Up at the Crack of Sparrows, leaving Krakow in Poland for my first 100 mile. Have I said Krakow right? I probably haven't.
No, I don't think so. But my Polish is not great, so...
well, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's focus on the photo rather than my mispronunciations. It's a brilliant one, isn't it? It's another one with the sunrise or the sunset there, but that looks like a fantastic road stroke bike path, doesn't it?
It does. It just looks absolutely amazing. That makes me want to go and ride my bike just as much as the others. So yeah, I hope it was a good 100 miler. And if it wasn't, there was actually a video that came up on GCN on Saturday, which you should probably watch just to... pick up on some of Connor's pro tips. Actually,
and if you, sorry, I
was going to say that some of Connor's self-shot footage was really quite inspirational as well. Southern Ireland is a fantastic place to ride your bike.
Yeah, he's got some decent roads, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you do a 100 miler in the next week, or indeed any other kind of ride, then don't forget to take your inspirational photos or videos, don't forget, and upload them to the GCN app to put yourself in with a shout of a prize next week.
I don't think we've had a GCN inspirational video for quite some time, have we?
No, that's true.
Well, there we go then. That's gauntlet thrown down.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
We'll start cycling shorts with the news that e-bike manufacturer Van Moof have just had a TV advert pulled in France, with the results that it's now gone viral online instead, worldwide.
It has, yeah. It portrayed the e-bike as the answer to gridlocked freeways or packed subways, but it was pulled by the French Advertising Regulation Authority for, and I quote, creating a climate of anxiety.
Yeah. Technically, Dan, I think that quote's probably in French. You translated it, but still.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Do you want to have a go at it in French, or should we leave it?
No.
Okay.
We'll leave it.
All right, well, let's move on. Now, the race season is nearly on us, and in amongst all the information about team training camps and so on, we couldn't help but notice that Mathieu van der Poel and several teammates have been doing something of a classics recon.
They have. And they weren't hanging about, were they?
No.
They did the final few stretches of Paris-Roubaix cobbles, and in the process, they took a number of KOMs.
They did, yeah. Sorry, Dan. I couldn't help but notice that that Matty was actually 39 seconds adrift of my own personal best on probably one of the most pivotal sections of pavé in the whole of Paris-Roubaix, the Carrefour de l'Arbre section. So, yeah.
Nice work, mate.
Yeah.
By that reckoning, you'd be right up there if you competed in Paris-Roubaix this year,
Well,
wouldn't you?
I mean, I didn't want to say, but I am waiting to hear back from ASO, just in case I can get a last-minute entry. Yeah.
Where are you on the segment?
95th.
Sorry. I thought you were going to say a lot higher than that.
Well,
also, weren't you on a mountain bike, which you found to be about 9 seconds quicker than the road bike?
10 seconds, yeah. No, I mean, I used to be a lot higher, but pro cyclists now have started Stravaing their races, which is particularly irritating on that segment. But anyway, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll move quickly on from a very long
yeah.
conversation about one of your 95th places on Strava. We're moving on to news that Taylor Phinney has teamed up with Allied to raise money for the Davis Phinney Foundation. That is a foundation that uses its money to help people living with Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, so Taylor has hand-painted an Allied Able gravel bike, which is amazing, to raise money for his dad, Davis's foundation. His dad, remember, being a top pro bike rider in his own right as well. Anyway, this is a sweepstake, so basically you make a donation, a minimum of $25, and then you'll be entered in to the sweepstake, where you get a chance to win that rather nice looking gravel bike.
Got a really interesting piece of research for you now, Si. It relates to cycling infrastructure and how they increase house prices.
Wow, that is actually interesting, Dan.
Yeah, well, I told you it was. It comes from the Journal of Urban Studies, which is one of my favourites, and Conroe et al. Concluded that, and I'm going to actually give a quote this time because it was in English, that bicycle infrastructure density is positively associated with home sale price. I can't even read out a quote. Anyway, strangely, on the other side of the coin, house prices do not correlate with the actual number of people that ride bikes nearby.
Well, that is interesting and slightly peculiar at the same time. I guess people just like being surrounded by bike infrastructure, even if it doesn't empower them to ride. Right, some tech news now, Dan. Now, Moots have just updated their Route range of gravel bikes. And I say Route, I was contacted last year on Instagram by a man who was, he was disgusted, frankly, that I'd had the indecency to pronounce routes like a British person, i.e. route. But I since learned it's because actually it's named after Route County and not Route 66, which I couldn't bring myself to say.
Yeah. Not that you took it to heart though, Simon. It's not that you're remembering that comment 1 year later.
Yes. No.
Anyway.
Water off a duck's back.
Back to the beautiful new bikes from Moot. So they have increased tyre clearance across the board from 40 to 45 on the rather racy RSL. They've increased it from 45 to 50 on the now, not aptly named at all, Route 45. And also from 45 to 50 on the Softail YBB model. On top of that, they have put on wider handlebars and shorter stems, and they've slackened the head tube slightly. So a little bit like what happened to mountain bikes just after our era of mountain biking. So
indeed, Dan. Well, when you say just after, like a decade or so, wasn't it? But yeah, like a blink of an eye. There are some other very nice touches actually and some new bits on those bikes, so do make sure you go check them out. Now, we're going to finish cycling shorts with one last little bit of news. I saw this story on Cycling News from the Giro race organisers, who are saying they're going to be equipping spectators with wristbands that emit a noise when you get too close to another wristband that's being worn by a spectator. So trying to promote social distancing there. Unless, Dan, I did think there might be a problem here, it might just add to the ambiance of the stage finishes if all these wristbands making noises might create a bit of a buzz.
Yeah. What sort of noise do they make? The noise of a crowd?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if it works. It's hard to imagine that people aren't going to be crammed together at the top of mountaintop finishes, isn't it? But we shall wait and see.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sure you will all be wanting to know how you get your hands on that 3T bike, courtesy of Komoot, that we mentioned at the very introduction of this GCN show. We're going to let you know now. So firstly, you need to create an account for Komoot if you haven't done so already, and then you have to upload a completed ride, your favourite one, and tag in GCN's Komoot account. After which you will need to add in your photos and a description in which you're going to tell us why you think you should be chosen. So a few simple steps that will put you in with a chance of winning that 3T bike.
That's right. Now, like we said, you don't actually have to do the ride, which is just as well, because all the presenters have put some rides on there to get you started, and I went for what I would ideally like to do were I still race fit again. So mine's 130 k's of Y Valley epicness here in the UK, and I don't think I could do it right now, actually.
No, well, that's exactly why I did Land's End to John O'Groats, because I knew I didn't have to do it. Hack /bodge of the week now, and we're going to start with this one that came in from, you'd have thought I'd got the right part of the script before I started this, wouldn't you? But anyway, it came in from Juan Pa, who said, more recycling. Instead of buying an ass saver, I decided to make my own using some plastic. This is an old photo from 2017, but since then, I've added an extra bit of plastic so that it wouldn't rotate.
Nice. Well, there we go then. I mean, undermining the ass saver business model, but all in the name of recycling, which, you can't complain with, can you really?
No, it's done a very neat job of it as well. That's definitely a hack from me.
Absolutely, yeah. Wouldn't it be great if it was made out of like an old milk bottle? Because that's kind of like high quality looking plastic. I'm not sure I've got much of that stuff knocking around in my recycling bin. But if it was an old milk bottle, got a lot of those. So Juan Pa, if you can give me like a template, I'm all over it.
Well, anyway, you might have one. Actually, it's 72% of people said that was a hack. But you might have one of these next hacks or bodges lying about, Si, because it's a banana stuffed into a brake caliper. It came in from Rahas. Too lazy to put saddlebag on and no table nearby. Train indoors without jersey to be cooler. Only accessible place to store a banana. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's quite neat. I might be tempted to put the banana next to my bike and then just jump off, just for 20 seconds. But I guess that is a hack, isn't it? Really?
Well, I'm going for bodge. I mean, surely you can just find somewhere to put things like a banana on nearby.
Well, good point.
Well, you and I are split, Si, and so are the general public. 50-50 split. I think it's the first ever 50-50 split we've had, isn't it, on hacks and bodges? Yeah.
I've never seen that before, Dan, but yeah, there we go. Okay, next up, we've got this one that's been sent in by Daniel from Berlin. I wonder where he's from. Now,
what his name is.
Right, this is a DIY clamp dust cap. Okay, now I didn't know that this was needed, but he said he always used to get dirt thrown up from the tyre into the slit on the frame that allows you to clamp your seat post. The result was an infuriating creaking. That is actually quite annoying. Anyway, so we 3D printed a dust cap, and because it's 3D printing, Dan, it is therefore an official hack.
Yeah, that's a hack from me as well. He's done a very neat job.
Yeah, it does look neat, actually, to be fair. I never thought that was an issue, but I do remember creaky seat posts from back in the day.
Yeah, creaky cranks as well. They were always... You used to have to use your 8mm Allen key to really tighten the torque up, didn't you? That seemed to sort the problem for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Moving on to this one from James Don 380, kind of a variation on a theme here, because we've seen plenty of bar tape wrapped on crutches, but never quite to this level and never on a Zimmer frame. He put, following another bike crash, I bust my hip and had to bodge my walker to help me set a new PB to the kitchen. So he's got the aero bars, he's got the head unit, and he's got the bar tape and the bottle. He's well set up for home training, isn't he?
Oh, James, I'm feeling for you there. That's, I mean, it's funny, but it's also brutal. So yeah, I hope you get well soon, because from aerodynamic TT bike to Zimmer frame is a tough gig. Bit of pill to swallow there. But,
I mean, he can be happy he's had 74% voting that a hack.
Well, let me add another hack to it, Dan.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, get well soon hack. Otherwise it'd be a bodge, but you know. Anyway, moving on. We got this one sent in from Dimitar Peshev, which is we've had chain rings as clocks, Dan. Never before have I seen a disc rotor as a clock. But there we go. Look at that DIY clock.
Well,
Genius.
yeah, looks good. They're always a hack from me.
Yep, I like that. Yeah, I think that looks good personally. Hack from me.
Right, we'll move on to what I'm already declaring as a bodge from Ogaram. Yellow bike tandem. It was made by joining two yellow hire bikes. The front rider does not contribute to forward momentum. It's not my bike. I didn't take any more photos of it, unfortunately, but it's from Melbourne in Australia. Bodge. I've said bodge already. I mean, that looks like a death trap.
Well, it does, doesn't it? I think I don't know how that works, but yeah. I mean, good luck to you if you're gonna hire that one.
Just looks like it would collapse in the middle.
Well, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Maybe it's Photoshop, Dan. It's one of those.
Could well be. Either that or just doesn't work.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, now we got this one sent in by Ben Dickinson. Wall mount 1, he said. Wall mounted bike holder that can take my gravel and road bike. The larger tyres on the gravel bike means some interesting measurements to allow both bikes to fit. I think that's interesting in quote marks, but still, it looks like it's neatly done and well out the way of your front door there as well. So
yeah, had a few of these recently, haven't we? We didn't have this last week, did we? Anyway,
nope.
It's a hack from me.
I think it's a hack from me as well, actually.
Well done. Right, the penultimate one this week comes in from Denise Morph. Cyclo Chandelier. Our local bike shop has added a small cafe with apt lighting. A chandelier made from used bicycle wheels and chain. Now again, Si, we have seen various bicycle components made into lamps and other lighting. Never have I seen one to that level before. That's a definite hack from me.
Yeah, I think so as well. It was quite gothic, having a load of bike chains dangling from your chandelier, but yeah, I like it, Dan. I mean, in someone else's cafe, not the front room.
Well, 84% have gone for hack on that one. And then the last one, you're going to like this one, Si. It came in from C.KR02.
Oh, yeah.
A self-made free hub disassembly tool. Built this tool for Shimano free hubs from parts of a cheap ratchet set and an old file for the bar that engaged with the notches in the free hub. I chose a piece of a file because it's made of extremely well hardened tool steel, which is ideal for the job. Apparently it works very well.
Oh my word. I mean, like disassembling Shimano free hubs is kind of like one of those sort of workshop skills that's sort of talked about in hushed tones. I've never met anyone who's actually attempted it before because they're kind of indestructible. But there we go. That is the tool for the job. I did not think it would look like that, Dan. That is a hack from me.
Yeah, it's a hack from me as well. I do like a homemade tool, although in the one time I did do one and make one and made it for a GCN video as well, I think it was a chain whip. And I also believe that the total cost of my homemade tool was more than buying a decent one from a reputable tool manufacturer.
Oh my word. Yeah, terrible. That's a bodge if ever there was one.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, do let me know what happens when you disassemble a Shimano free hub body. By the way, I'll be very intrigued to know. Right, some absolute brilliant hacks and bodges this week, as always. So please keep them coming in. Upload them to the GCN app, and also get stuck in as well. You can vote on next week's. They're already live in the app. Next up, it is Caption competition. That part of the show where you get chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Elite water bottle. Dan, have you got one? Have you got?
I have.
You have.
I've got my usual big red one.
Nice. There we go. Right. The competition entry mechanism is simple. Just caption a photograph that we're about to give you. And to give you a clue about how it works, we'll start with the results from last week. It was a photograph of Dan giving it full gas with Ted King on his wheel from the 2010 Giro, I believe, not, as Dan said, the 2009 Giro, desperately trying to catch up with this bloke who's obviously shredding just in front. We got some great entries. I did have a chuckle. Dan, who's the winner?
The winner is Tim Bishop, who put caption, "How is Dan's retirement hobby like his time trialling position? They are both doubled over at the bar." Very, very clever, Tim, and fairly true as well. Yeah. Give us a message on Facebook with your address. We'll get that bottle sent out to you. This week's photo comes from the Grand Prix Vermark on Sunday. It's Peter Serry of the Koenig Quickstep. I will get you started. I've got B on my hand. Sorry, best I've got this week.
Well, it's not bad. For those of you that are struggling to work out what on earth Dan's going on about, a bidon is, of course, French for water bottle. And as we've already heard in this show, Dan is completely fluent in French. Quotes in it as if it was English. It's remarkable. So yeah, anyway, if you think you can beat Dan, then get stuck in the comment section down below.
As is customary, we're going to go through a few of our favourite comments from the last 7 days before we let you know what's coming up on the channel. And we're going to start underneath Hank's trenching challenge, which he completed, the video of which went out on Sunday. First up from SAF1981. I think Hank is the only GCN presenter finding retirement harder than when he was a pro. Absolute machine. Never a truer word said. Whilst Paul Richter said, GCN advice to audience on epic rides. Plan, plan, plan. GCN management to James, yeah, sort your gearing out on the day, mate. Of course you can do it on a 34.28. You used to race on a 39.25, didn't you?
You know, my favourite bit of the video, mate, was watching James drive up the climb before he started and looking at his little face as he realised what he'd done.
Oh no. Very, very steep. Very, very steep. So this second hairpin, another incredibly steep one. And then it's starting to ease now, but it's still around 19%.
Genius. That was, yeah, absolutely classic. But fair play to the lad. Right, now underneath Connor's How to Ride 100 Miles video, we had this from Cloudim FM. Other guys were awkward with the camera when they joined GCN, but Connor is doing it naturally from the beginning. Loved the video. And yes, very true. Connor is brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah, like we said before, he and Manon have taken to it like ducks to water. Very impressive. Meanwhile, under How to Choose a Power Meter, Callum Spencer, I'm not sure why I'm watching this. I don't even train, never mind own a power meter.
Oh, that's genius.
But my favourite comment of all from the last 7 days, Si, came underneath last week's show from Rob Hartsook. Si looks like he combs his hair with a balloon. Yeah, I laughed at that for a good 5 minutes last Tuesday when the video came out. Anyway, coming up on the channel this week on Wednesday, we are going to show you how to plan a bike ride. That will be brought to you by Connor. On Thursday, we're going to.
I did that one.
Oh, did you? I'm very sorry, Si.
That's all right, mate. No, I show you how to plan a bike ride. I've got a bit of a thing about, like, I see lots of new cyclists, Dan. Sorry, this is not a long story, don't worry. I see so many like new cyclists out at the moment. It's brilliant, but everyone is riding where they would normally drive their cars, like on busy main roads. And so the message is just don't ride where you drive, basically, and it's how to find out ways. Anyway, there we go. Just
sorry about that. I thought Connor had done it. I was going to watch that one, but on Thursday we're going to give hacks for commuters. Of course, a lot more people are riding their bike to work these days after lockdown. So a few hacks and bits of advice really for you there. And on Friday, can you learn to unicycle in a day? That one isn't you, Si, is it?
No, I can already unicycle, Dan. No, this is poor old Hank. So, yeah. He's,
I've got 95th in a Strava KOM. Oh, I can unicycle.
Oh, yeah. Did you know? I can't believe you didn't know that, Dan. That's one of my party tricks. Right, on Saturday, we've got how to lose weight through cycling. Sunday, we've got the GCN Uphill Hour. So this is a bit of a challenge that we want you all to get stuck into as well. So more details come in on Sunday, but basically it's like a short version of Everesting, so we can all get involved. That seems like a big win if you ask me.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, of course, head over to the Racing Channel for the Racing News Show.
Indeed. Right, also a bit of a plug for the GCN shop. We've been showing you the new GCN Pro kit for the last couple of weeks. I did get mine, as you can see, it's hanging up behind me. But news in is that we have a women's specific Pro kit that is also available in the shop now. Lots of you, of course, asking for that, and it's now there and available to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Dan, well, I believe that is it for the GCN show for this week, isn't it?
It is, yes. We will leave the comments open, so don't forget to get stuck in with your opinion on the big helmet debate. But be nice to everybody about it.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, it has been a pleasure as always, and we'll see you all back here next week.
See ya.